Hey everybody, thank you guys so much for joining me. Um, okay, so I let's see, where do we start? I guess we're going to start with weight, just to go ahead and get that out of the way, and then from there I will talk about certain things that have been on my mind as of late. Um, so to start with, today I came in at 297.2. That is exactly 2 pounds up from my lowest weight, which was 295.2. What gives? What's going on? Well, my weight has been bouncing around over the past 2-ish weeks or so. It got as high as like 303, which in the old days would have been like, oh, that's not that bad. But if you do the math, that's like 8 pounds up, So I'm like, oh, shoot, and I made a decision to take a break from fast food as of late. There's a lot of stuff going on as to why I'm trying to save some money. I hate to say I'm broke. I'm not broke like a GoFundMe kind of thing, but money, it goes so fast. That's all I'm going to say, but I'm okay otherwise. I just got the bill from the hospital from when I went for my ear infection. I thought I had mastoiditis. Okay, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a infection that is in your mastoid, like I guess the mastoid bone or something, your skull or something. I don't know, some kind of really bad infection that can kill you. And because you guys are going to think I'm stupid, I don't care. So what I did not know is that you have lymph nodes on the back of your head, the back of your head, not like like your actual head. Okay, you got lymph nodes back here. Here's why I'm mentioning it. Because when I had that really bad ear infection, my lymph nodes all over my body were swelling, including in my breast area and everything. It was so bad. And I had that on the back of my head. And again, I didn't know I had lymph nodes back there. I'm not an idiot. I just didn't know, and either way it goes, I went to the emergency room because I panicked. I'm like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Typical me, right? And they told me, oh no, you don't have mastoiditis. If you did, your ear would be literally like coming off, not coming off like the flesh separating, but more like pushed out. My ear would have been pushed out. This was the ear that was infected. It would have been pushed out away from my head. I mean, still attached, but like pushed forward, from the swelling or something, whatever. Anyway, point is, praise God, I didn't have that condition. I ended up getting on antibiotics. That cleared it up. Went and saw ENT. He cleared my ears, all that. Well, I got a bill from the emergency room. They gave me a deal. I think because I let them know how broke I was, they gave me a deal. So I really appreciate that. So I got to take care of that bill very soon. What else is going on? Oh yeah, I've taken a break from fast food, and it's partially financial, but it's also because that's what was making me gain so much weight, was eating the fast food. Do you know, and I'm just going to tell you this, I know people tell you, oh, I get two messages. I get people saying, oh, you can eat and eat fast food and still lose weight. It's about calories in, calories out. And I get another group of people saying, oh, just stay away from fast food. They're both right, but I am more leaning towards stay away from fast food than the first group. Okay, because it is so easy to get in trouble in restaurants. Like, I'll give you an example. I love Panda Express, and I love the grilled chicken teriyaki. And that's considered one of their walk smart meals. Okay, that's encouraged. You know, if you look at someone's video like how to lose weight with Panda Express, they almost always recommend the grilled chicken teriyaki and of course the veggies, which I by default always get the veggies anyway, right? But the thing is, I like the orange chicken. I now like the Beijing beef. I like the honey walnut shrimp. And I'm sure there's some other stuff too. And I also started getting my crab rangoons or whatever, cream cheese rangoons. I'm so sorry. I'm not using a filter so I can like put my hand properly over my mouth when I yawn. Without getting lips on my hand. But anyway, yeah, so I like those things too, and they're full of calories and carbohydrates and, you know, all that. There's this guy I follow. I don't want to say his name, but I kind of forgot his name anyway, even if I wanted to say it. I love his videos, and he did this video where he was calling out myths like, if you eat sugar, it will make you gain weight, and da 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 da. And he says at the end, I don't want to be too distinctive about him because I actually adore this man, but I'll just say that he explained that those things are not true. Baby, it's true for me. It's true for me with my insulin resistant ass. Insulin resistance, baby. Okay? I'm showing off my acanthosis nigricans if you're not familiar. I am insulin resistant. I have a 5.8 A1C. It is true for me. Okay? I understand it may not be true for everybody. And by the way, lucky you. But it is for me. When I eat excessive sugar, then I gain weight. If I eat something super sugary before bed, I tend to gain weight, you know? So it's true for me, you know? But if it's not true for you, fine, you know? But it's not, you know, it's like some people say, oh, well, exercise won't do anything for you if you're not eating right. I have seen too many people trim down with exercise for me to believe that. Sorry. Try that on somebody else. I've seen that happen with too many people. By the way, it's not that I'm like living on exercise, because I'm absolutely not. I'm just making a point though that a lot of things that are said to be myths, I've seen it in action too many times. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I've seen it in practice. I've lived it, you know, so stop. Like, you know, I don't know why this is making me think of this. Should I talk about this? Okay, so I have a video where it was a little on the rambly side, but I talk about my journey getting pregnant with my daughter, which my daughter is now a 6 going on 7-year-old child, and I'm now a 42-year-old woman to a 6-year-old daughter, you know? And so, you know, it's, okay, I'm just going off of whatever comes to mind, okay? So if you can hang with me, I love you for it. I just want you to know that. So, you know, something that's been kind of haunting me is the idea of having children, more kids. And the reason why I never tried to have children, or like why I don't have any more biological kids other than my daughter, is because I developed preeclampsia during my pregnancy, and I had a bunch of risk factors. Being African American is a risk factor. Being obese is a risk factor. Being 35 and over is a risk factor. Being a first-time mom is a risk factor. I'm sure there are other ones, but those 4 are risk factors, and I certainly developed it. The hospital took very good care of me. I wouldn't have known how bad it was if no one had told me, but my blood pressure was extreme. I've talked about this in multiple videos. When I say extreme, with the electric cuff, it was 220 for the top number. I don't remember what the bottom was when it was 220 for the top number. And then when she took it manually, it was like 190. Okay. I could have died. And that scared me so bad that it made me decide, okay, I'm going to lose weight before I try to have a baby. And, you know, I went on a weight loss journey in 2019 after some intense postpartum depression caused me to regain all the weight that I lost post-pregnancy. I would go on a weight loss journey, and then and the weight moved very slowly, by the way. When it did come off, it did move pretty slowly. The smallest I got down to was 282.9 or something like that. And 282.9 or 282.8, either or. Anyway, I I won't even get into that. I have a story about that, but I won't get into it right now. I'll talk about that later. Not in this video, I'm sure. But anyway, so about the weight loss journey and everything is that I don't know why I dropped it, but basically I fell off the wagon and didn't get back on. I never like told myself, oh, okay, I'm done doing this or anything. I just started effing up, which I've effed up a great deal on this journey, but of course I've kept going and I've had a lot more motivation because I know what it's like. I know what giving up looks like. And so it's forced me to pick myself back up and keep on going and so on and so forth. And, you know, here I am at 297.2. And not quite my smallest, which was 2 pounds smaller, but a hell of a lot smaller than I was when I started. And I'm not ever giving up. I'm going to keep on fighting, you know. And I'm even willing to do those GLP-1s if I must, which as of right now, I don't feel like I must, but I'm saying if that's the alternative compared to staying fat, I am willing to do those, okay? Despite all the side effects I hear about, because being obese also has tons of side effects. I would say more side effects than any medication does, you know? So, all that being said, I forget why I am talking about this because I just kind of, oh yeah, about having another baby. So, you know, I never reached a small enough weight where I felt comfortable trying. And then, of course, there was the pandemic. Okay. And the pandemic, because when I reached that 282.9, which was not small enough for me to want to, you know, try to get pregnant again. But when I did reach that number, we were still fully in the first year of the pandemic. It was at the end of 2020. And so, you know, I'm hearing nightmarish stories of women giving birth on their own. Nobody could be in the delivery room with them as far as their family goes and stuff, and even limited staff, I've heard during that time. Maybe somebody can comment if you went through that, but you know, it was just crazy. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no. Like, and so that was another reason why I staved off having children, or by children, I mean more, you know. I'm like, okay, like, you know, hopefully things will get better before my eggs expire. I like to think now at 42, it's not that my eggs are expired, it's that they have a manager special sticker on them. You know, they're marked down, okay? Because the expiration date is soon, but it's not here yet, right? That's how I like to think about it. But, you know, and then of course, like all these issues with my, you know, now former partner, I came to a point where, and I'm not saying this to dog him, I'm not, but just me speaking my truth, I came to a point where I thought to myself, after everything I went through with our first child, ain't no way, ain't no how would I feel comfortable giving this man another baby. And that was when we were still together, you know. And so I'm just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, you know, I used to have fantasies that maybe one day I would meet a good guy and that I could maybe have a baby with him, you know. I follow this one woman who her whole online identity just about is the fact that she got pregnant over 45. I'm not going to say who I'm talking about. So that could be anybody. But yeah, she got pregnant naturally over 45. And she's kind of made that her whole identity, which, I mean, it is a beautiful thing. And it gives so much hope to a lot of women who have struggled to get pregnant, especially older, you know. So I'm not hating or anything. But yeah, I hope that one day, if I do meet the right person, that at least we have the option. Even if we don't utilize it, I would love for that option, you know? So that's my opinion about that. You know, a part of me kind of wants to, you know? I don't know. I want to say this about being and this is going to come across as insensitive, and it's definitely not meant to be. Is it the only reason why I will be perceived as such is because I'm in the group that I'm a PCOS woman who did get pregnant and have a successful pregnancy, so that's why it would be deemed insensitive. Otherwise, if I was like, if this was January 2018, it wouldn't be insensitive because that was before I knew I was pregnant or whatever, before I'd gotten pregnant, whatever, you know. I didn't find out I was pregnant until the end of February of 2018. But I'm in these PCOS groups and I'm like shocked at how many women with my condition have so much resentment towards women in their lives that can get pregnant, or even sometimes strangers on the internet. Like oftentimes in these PCOS groups, when women want to celebrate their pregnancy, which to me is beautiful, and it's not even insensitive because, okay, think about it like this. Let's say you contract a horrible illness. Don't you want to know that there are survivors of this illness? And I'm not talking about PCOS being that illness. I mean, just in terms of, don't you want to know that there is hope at the end of the tunnel? I mean, don't you know what I mean? Right? That's my thought. And that's always been my thought. Even before I ever got pregnant, I thought like that. And I never, before pregnancy, never understood the vindictiveness of some people who deal with infertility issues being angry at people who are happily pregnant. Now, no, a part of me can relate if, let's say, you're someone who you struggle with infertility and you hear a story about a woman who doesn't want her baby or mistreats her baby or whatever, and you think to yourself, like, why are people like this getting pregnant but I can't get pregnant? Like, people who are hateful and awful towards children are getting pregnant but I can't get pregnant. So in that regard, I'm with you, but not on the basis of someone just getting pregnant. Like, that shouldn't be, because don't you want to know that it's possible? And seeing other people's success stories shows, oh, that could happen for me too. Like, thank you. I see that that's possible. You know, I don't interpret it as, oh, you're rubbing it in my face. Like, how dare you get pregnant? Like, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. But again, now I have a child, and so now it's like, okay, well, you're judging someone who doesn't but I'm going back to, I didn't get pregnant until I was 35, and I'm going back to my mindset previous to pregnancy, and it's congruent in that way to post pregnancy, you know, which is that it, to me, knowing that you can get pregnant when you've had difficulties and have a successful pregnancy, to me that gives hope. Like, I love hearing stories of women over 40 having babies, because I'm over 40 and a part of me wants to have a baby again. I mean, I say that kind of nervously, because a part of me, I'm like kind of okay with being one and done, but then another part of me is like, it would be nice to have a child with someone that I have a wonderful relationship with, you know, and who I know is gonna like be loving and supportive towards me and my current child and stuff. It'd be nice to make a baby with someone like that. So, I don't know. But anyway, I'm sorry if I'm being a Debbie Downer. I don't mean to be. It's just like, I decided I'm going to talk about lots of random thoughts in my head. Another one. Okay, I'm in the car with my mom. I kind of feel like making this a different video, but I'm not. I was in the car with my mom the other day, and she starts playing a YouTube video. And the video was a woman, trying to remember how this went. And I'm going to talk about a male video like this too, but what happened with this woman, if I can remember correctly? Shoot. The woman, oh, I know what it was. Okay. So I believe this was a fake fucking video. Okay. So a woman claimed that she went on she was going to go on a date with a guy whom she had no interest and or attraction to at all. Okay. Purely using this man for a free meal or whatever in the hell. Okay. Whatever she could get. But she made it clear she was talking to a so-called Uber or Lyft driver, one of these ride share, whatever, you know, talking to one of them and saying, you know, hey, you know, they're making conversation, and she's like, yeah, this guy's too short, I'm not attracted to him, you know, all that. And the guy messages the man, because the man had bought the ride for her, and so he messages the man who bought the ride and says, dude, don't waste your time, she ain't the one, brah, or something like that. And so the guy ended up telling her, you can see your way home. The guy who she was trying to use was telling her, you know, you can find your own way home or something, you know, I'm not taking you out, whatever, you know, something along those lines. And I watched this and I'm like, this is the fakest sounding garbage. And I'm so exhausted with these fake videos. Like, okay, there was another video. Now, this was a joke, but people are reposting it like it's real, where it's this black couple, I believe, black couple. They show the guy, and he's saying, you know, I paid $30 for your meal. It looks like they're at Buffalo Wild Wings. And he says, I paid $30 for your meal, so maybe you can cash at me back if you don't want to come back to my place and sleep with me. And she's like, I don't do that. What are you talking about? Whatever, you know, about sleeping with him right away, because I think that was supposed to be their first date or something. And you know, I went to, it's something like Mario Film or something, whatever. It's a skit. Now, yes, it's a skit, but I think that skit is more realistic than the skits that they have about women, and I hate to put it like that, but it's like a long-standing understanding that if you, I even have this old TV show I watch, which was kind of, in my opinion, a much younger precursor to the Golden Girls, called It's a Living on Amazon Prime, if you're a Golden Girls fan, check out It's a Living, okay? It's wonderful. Love that show. And it's very old. It started before I was even born. It was like from 1980 or 81, I think. Anyway, and it also ended up with Shirley Ralph and Crystal Bernard from Wings and stuff, whatever. Anyway, here's why I'm mentioning it. The character, I forget her name. She's the platinum blonde on the show. She says if he buys, or if your dinner costs like at least $40, I think you're obligated to sleep with him or something. And mind you, $40 was different than $40 now, but it's been a long-standing understanding that men tend to expect sexual relations when they spring for a large meal. And women now, or an expensive meal, and women now are like saying, no, I can buy my own meal, and I'm not going to sleep with you just because you bought me an expensive meal. Are you crazy? But that's been like something from, mind you, well over 40 years ago. I'm 42. This show is older than me. So and that's just one instance, but there's been tons of instances of like women understanding that there's a lot of men that feel that if they spend money on us, then we're obliged to give them sex, or at least like, affection or something, And I want to say this, and then I want to come back to the whole skit thing. I'm glad that attitudes are changing with that. I'm glad that women are understanding, and some men, that, it's not quid pro quo. It is you getting to know someone on a date. Like, that's what it is. And if you're someone who you can't really afford to date, I will say this, okay? It's just like, if you watch my videos, okay? I'm presuming this is not your first video of mine. If you watch my videos, I am very hard on myself. I am very aware of my size. I am very aware of the fact that I'm rarely hit on, etc., etc., etc. So I understand that I'm not going to get the creme de la creme where I am right now. More likely than not. Like, it would be shocking if I met the one looking like this. And I don't think I'm an ugly girl, but I am extremely large, and that's just what it is, okay? And so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to meet the one looking like this, right? On the other hand, you have a lot of men who, they understand that in general, women do look to men to be the head / providers, so on. And they really don't have the finances to date properly. And I'm not saying that the finances means that you have the money to take a woman to, like, different women to Nobu 5 times a week, or even once a week or something like that. But, where you can comfortably afford to take a woman to, I would say, a mid restaurant. And in my opinion, I'm just going to say this. I would put Applebee's and Chili's in that category. Because it's definitely not McDonald's. It's not Jersey Mike's. It's more expensive than those places. And it's a place where you can enjoy a meal and get to know each other and so on and so forth. Excuse me. And if you don't have money to do that, then I think you should focus on taking care of your business until you are in said position, because what kind of provider can you be when you can't even do that? That reminds me of something, but the thing it reminds me of, it's something I've mentioned in a previous video, and it has to do with a particular person. And I don't want to open up that can of worms again, so I'm going to leave it. But I'll just say, like, just like I need to lose weight, you need to get more money, And I don't mean be rich, but I mean where you can comfortably date women, where it's not like taking a woman out to a regular dinner is going to make or break whether you can pay your rent and, you know, keep your lights on and so on and so forth, right? Not that I expect any men to be watching this or anything, but that's just my viewpoint on that. But going back to these scam or these, I'm sorry, satire videos that don't make it clear that they're skits or whatever, it's so upsetting because people will get so hateful and they're like, oh, see how black women are? Because most of them that I have seen that have really hit are anti-black women. Like the Cheesecake Factory skit, the woman from that skit ought to be fucking ashamed of herself. She was the woman, pretty black girl. I think she was wearing a green dress in the video, and she had braids in her hair. And the guy looked like he might have been Indian or Arabic or something, whatever, outside of the car. And she was like, oh, you can't take me to Cheesecake Factory and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and Cheesecake Factory, if you actually go there, you'll know they are not cheap. Okay, no, they're not the most expensive, but they're not cheap. The worst thing about Cheesecake Factory is that the food isn't very good. It's not how much it costs. Like that, if you can afford to take me to Cheesecake Factory, I would not be thinking, wow, this guy's real broke. Okay, he's taking me to Cheesecake Factory. He ain't got no money. Like, that wouldn't even occur to me. Okay, that's not a thing for me. I would just be thinking, he doesn't have any taste. Like, because Cheesecake Factory, it's just not very good, taste-wise. At least, let me clarify, the last few times I've been, it just wasn't very tasty. But anyway, this was if you notice, these videos are usually tearing down black women. And Chrissy, by the way, Chrissy exposed the skit. In case you didn't know that was a skit, she exposed it. You got to look for Chrissy, Cheesecake Factory, whatever, skit or whatever. And they're meant to, like, humble black women, to bring out our inner pick-me and to just tear us down. And when I say our inner pick-me, like, well, I'm not like that. I'm not that girl. You can buy me a cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's about who you are on the inside. I'll be a provider, a submissive provider to you. You know, it's meant to bring out that in us. And I'm sure it has in some women, you know. But yeah, but no, those videos, they're mostly anti-black women, in my opinion, and it's stomach churning, and I'm thinking, why are we, like, why would, it makes me sad that black women will participate in that. To me, I hate to use this word, but it's the C word that sounds like you're talking about a raccoon, quote unquote. But to me, that's what that is towards fellow women, fellow black women, when black women participate in those skits. And they think it's funny. It's not funny. It's hateful because people believe it. And then they paint everybody with this fake brush and stuff and make it out like, oh yeah, look at this, like, you know, ghetto queen who's like, you know, like I'm sure you guys saw the one. And I'm not sure if this was a skit, but I'm guessing it was, the chick who ate all those damn oysters and ran up the bill and everything. And then the guy, I think he left on her and stuff. There was another one, and my mom likes to reference this one, where the girl, she and her friends go out to eat, and the friends think that because the husband is there that he's supposed to pay for their food. And it's like, that'd be sweet, but that's absolutely not his obligation. And to think that he's supposed to is wild, you know. And he said, I'll take care of my wife. I'm not taking care of y'all. Like, y'all are crazy, you know. Especially y'all been ordering drinks and crazy stuff all night. Hell no, you know. But yeah, I don't know. We live in a crazy world. And I'm just, like, the people that have to be jackasses, to me, they make things so much harder for everybody. And I hate that. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent about, like, different, like I said, different things on my mind. But yeah, I hate those skits. And before you get too mad at something, then try to figure out if it's real or not. I mean, I'm talking about like a video like a woman acting totally irrational on a date, or, you know, even sometimes when it's a man, but especially when it's a woman. You know, I'm saying if you're someone who you support women, you know, having standards, understand there's so many people that resent women starting to have standards, you know. And they say like a lot of these laws in place that, you know, we've been seeing over the past several years and everything, that they're in response to women having standards because they want to strip women of our dignity and put us back, quote unquote, in the kitchen and everything. So please be aware of what you're supporting and or hating on, you know, because it's just so much fake content out there. Nowadays, you don't even know if something's AI a lot of times, you know. There's these videos I think are really funny. It's this old lady who they're talking to her. She's like an old rich lady, and they're asking her questions like, you know, hey, what's your advice for ladies? And it's like, marry an old man like I did, and he died when I was 25, and I've been rich for all my life, or something along those lines, not a direct quote. And I was looking, the more I looked at that, I'm like, I don't think this is real. And then sure enough, people called it out in the comments and said, no, you're right, this is AI. You know, I'm just like, wow. So the world is crazy, y'all. If I have any more thoughts, I will come back. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.